On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be having a look at the Spider-Man Fiercest Foes battle card figures. Today we're going to be looking at the super Poseable Spider-Man. And I seem to have picked up more of these figures than I have actually Marvel Universe figures. Between the black costume Spider-Man, the Green Goblin, this guy, they haven't been fantastic figures, but they have actually been pretty decent figures overall. Basic packaging. On the back of the packaging, the other figures in this wave, we've got I think it was Night Strike Spider-Man, which was the black costume Spider-Man. We have Green Goblin, got the fully Poseable Spider-Man, and then a Scuba Spider-Man, which I just don't get. I just don't understand it. It's a nice picture of Spider-Man up the top there. With suits for any mission, Spider-Man is ready to battle his fiercest foes no matter where they hide. Apparently some of his foes hide in water. But that's packaging. Very basic, very quick. What we'll do is we'll open this up. We will have ourselves a better look at Spider-Man. Stay tuned. I won't spend as much time talking about the cards as I have in the other reviews, but the initial idea is it's the old rock, paper, scissors game where you, depending on what symbol you use, you can beat your friends. What you win, I really don't know. I said at one point maybe you get the kid's dog. Maybe you do, I don't know. But if you do happen to draw the exact same card or the exact same symbol, the idea is you have a decoder here where you line it up. That one says 2, that one says 1, so whoever had this card would end up winning. Again, what you win, who knows? Who really knows? And then on the back you've got a puzzle, two puzzle pieces for what looks to be a larger puzzle. So we'll move those out of the way. No doubt as soon as I shoot this, these cards will get lost. They'll end up somewhere. The accessory that Spider-Man comes with is a web. Don't get too excited. Spider-Man can hold it. So if Spider-Man wants to make pancakes, he has a giant web kind of flipper. You can flip his pancakes. These webs are usually, again, something that just kind of gets lost. They just kind of end up somewhere. So put that aside. And we'll look at the fully Poseable Spider-Man. Granted, yes, I mean, clearly what they've done is they've just given him a couple extra points of articulation and then used that as a marketing way of selling the figure. I mean, really, the line as a whole, the Spider-Mans all should have really had this articulation. The black costume Spider-Man, unfortunately, didn't have the additional articulation in the foot. So instead it was just one piece, which makes things very hard to pose Spider-Man. The head is really nice on Spider-Man. The webbing, there is actually a lot of webbing on the head. It almost looks like there's too much webbing, but again, it probably stems from the fact that the head is so small on Spider-Man. But the paint is clean. There seems to be no bleed anywhere. A nice bright blue, which I like. A nice vibrant red. And the really bright white in the eyes, I think overall make for a very good figure. Unfortunately, they always have to put Spider-Man's one of his hands in a web shooting pose, which is alright because, I mean, the other open hand, really, what are you going to do with it, right? I mean, you can use this. Is anybody going to use this? Probably very unlikely. Just throw that aside. So you can have Spider-Man at least posed with his web hand out. Speaking of posing, Spider-Man is quite the poser. He has a fully articulated head, ball joint, so I mean it can do anything. I mean, you can do that. That would kill Spider-Man, so you don't want to do that. He has the ball-jointed shoulders. He doesn't have anything in the bicep, only because you can rotate the forearm. You can also bend the elbow, rotate the hand. He's got a ball-jointed mid-torso, so you can kind of have him hunched over, kind of leaning to the side. He also has ball-jointed legs that can bend in and out, back and forth. He's got what throws off, at least threw me off when I took him out of the package. He's got knees, but when I took the figure out of the package, his knee was like that. Thank goodness that they've sculpted the knee in so you can kind of get a ballpark idea as to where his knee is located. The legs can rotate all the way around. You can bend the knee as well. You can rotate the foot all the way around, and you can also bend the toe, or actually really you can bend the entire foot. So posing, you certainly have no problem posing this Spider-Man. The limbs are a little loose, some more than others. His legs are a little rubbery, but if you can kind of play around with him enough, you can actually get your Spider-Man in a couple of really nice poses. Now, based solely on the fact of comparing this guy to the Marvel Universe original Spider-Man, I think I'd actually take this Spider-Man over the original Spider-Man that I did in the review. Perhaps there are nicer Spider-Mans out there, but based solely on those two figures, I think this is probably the nicer Spider-Man to go with. Just because he doesn't have a lot of the excess articulation, like the excess thigh articulation, which I think the other Spider-Man had. The additional finger articulation, which I really didn't need in a smaller scale Spider-Man figure. So for that reason, I think this is a nice, decent figure to pick up. Finding him shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I think the Fiercest Foes figures are all over the place. I found this guy at Toys R Us, but you can find him at Walmart, Target, I'm sure. The Spider-Man, I'm gonna give him a 6.5. Just because he is a 3 3/4 inch figure, I'm still not 100% fine with the figures, but if I had to get one, I think this guy is a nice one to go with. Today's Toy Spot, we were looking at the Fiercest Foes, the battle card game figures. Today we were looking at the 3 3/4 inch fully posable Spider-Man. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Later.